Yeah, actually avoiding cloud sprawl can be one of the major challenges in this process. Organizations have to think through how to proactively design and build an infrastructure that can easily integrate into a multi-cloud environment, as well as understanding the operating model changes so that they can align more closely to the business and to deliver self-service capabilities from IT. Lastly, they need to think about the key applications and which cloud environment is appropriate for which application. It's critical that you understand the applications themselves. Organizations need to go through a profiling aspect and inventory to understand the criticality and requirements of each application. Once you understand each application, you can go through a thorough dispositioning process. Some dispositions, such as a migrate disposition, will look at applications that can benefit from a new modern cloud infrastructure, where then you need to decide which applications should be placed where within the cloud infrastructure. Other applications, quite frankly, are available because they house critical data to the business but are not actively being used and may get value out of an active retirement or archiving initiative. We find that some enterprises, actually 20% of their overall applications can be archived and retired. Yeah, so here organizations will start to look across a continuum of options. So for an organization that really wants to leverage existing investments, they'll consider a best-of-breed approach, where they and their individual personnel are selecting key components around compute, around storage, around networking. It may be more complex and more time-consuming, but gives them much more flexibility. Others will look to accelerate that by actually purchasing pre-built architectures where they rely on a partner such as Dell EMC, where we've selected the compute, network, and storage in our converged or hyper-converged fashion. And we're leveraging our people to do the architecture integration and end-to-end support and lifecycle management of the product. This removes complexity, speeds up adoption. Others will look for a specific solution or consumption model where they can invest in a solution that's purpose-built, such as an organization that's looking at a PaaS platform might look at our Pivotal Ready architecture on a hyper-converged platform, which is purpose-built with our hyper-converged and Pivotal software from Pivotal Cloud Foundry to actually deliver a PaaS outcome. Others that want an infrastructure as a service solution, they'll look at solutions from Dell EMC as an example, like our VX Rack SDDC, again, built on a hyper-converged platform with the VMware stack, purpose-built to deliver an IaaS solution. Either way, any of these options actually can be successful. It depends on where the organization is, what their goals are, and where they're starting from. But the rule of thumb is the closer you get to the consumption end of that continuum, the faster you're able to deliver cloud capabilities by removing complexity, ultimately accelerating and improving the business outcome. In this case, the operations and the organizational changes are the most significant impact around a multi-cloud environment. So in this case, organizations need to think about defining key roles and functions that allow them to get closer to the business. Think of a business relationship management function who's thinking about understanding the business demand requirements. Those requirements feed into a portfolio management function. A portfolio management function is creating key services that can be consumed and delivered through a self-service way, where the business can identify and understand the various service tiers as well as the unit costs and make those decisions as they consume the service. Ultimately, these technologies become much more integrated and dependent on one another, creating rise for new roles such as cloud architects and cloud operations teams. Ultimately, even application operations teams now start to join software product groups, which are helping define continuous delivery pipeline around how software is built, deployed, and ultimately provisioned into the cloud, and allowing them to deliver software in a much more frequent and agile base, giving agile capabilities and incremental benefits back to the business. So once a strategy is defined and you know where you want to go and where you are today, you need to outline the key roadmap of how you're going to get there. We have found that the most successful roadmaps look across the infrastructure, the application, and the operating model, not sequentially, but in parallel. This allows us to define a series of milestones that are incremental or MVPs to deliver incremental benefits of the multi-cloud platform back to the business. To make this a successful transformation, it requires key stakeholder and CXO level commitment to the organization. We have found that establishing a transformation program office, which allows us to govern and manage the internal initiatives, as well as bringing down that stakeholder commitment, allows us in an organization to surface the key risks and issues and ultimately removing roadblocks so that the transformation program can be successful.